Today, I'm going to share with you an identity hack on how you can excel your growth and your progress and make changes in your life so much faster where it literally feels like you're cheating. Now, imagine for a second if you woke up today and imagine your dream self. So, the goal version of yourself that you want to be like. And imagine if you woke up today and you thought exactly like them. You felt the emotions that they felt. You acted, behaved, and focused on the same exact things that they did in their lives. What would happen is the only thing between you and your goals in making that dream actually come true would just be time. And you would be showing up with so much certainty, so much aggression in a positive way, so much momentum that even the journey itself to the goal would be fun. It would be an amazing experience. Now, maybe right now you feel like you're completely stuck, where you're trying to change, but reality just keeps reflecting your same past, your same cycles over and over again, right? You try to make a change in your life and you find yourself losing motivation or you fall back. You try to get into a new relationship, but you find yourself in the same relationships, the same situations, the same financial outcomes over and over and over again. You feel like you just can't make a breakthrough. Well, my promise for you today is that you will make some sort of breakthrough by the end. Now, what is the secret then? The secret comes down to identity shifting. That's what I like to call it here. Now, the reason why is because your core identity influences the actions you take, what you focus on in life, literally what comes into your awareness in life, your behaviors, your decisions, which all produce the results, the life that you actually have. So here's how it works really quickly. Number one, when it starts to identity, your identity is created from your consistent thoughts and emotions held over time. Neurons that fire together will eventually wire together. So as we think, we become. But as we think with emotion, that's how we actually become. Now, where your thoughts and emotions come from, if you want to really learn like the deeper process on how this works, I got many more trainings. But as a whole, where your thoughts and emotions come from is the core belief systems that you have. Now, when I say belief systems, I don't mean religious belief systems, that's a part of it, but just overall belief systems. I believe this person is good or bad. I believe people are good or bad. I believe that money comes easily. I believe that money is evil. I believe this or that. Those are all belief systems. Belief systems run our lives. So, what we want to do here is that if you want to excel at your growth, if you want to get unstuck, if you want to start showing up as a person that you've always want to be like, the number one key that we need to do is we need to adopt their belief systems in the now. And I'm going to show you how we actually do that. So, and then why it's also important. So, what you want to do here, if you have a pen and paper, is first and foremost, you want to write down where you're at right now. Okay, so where you're at when it comes, maybe you're wanting finances, right? Maybe you want to build a business. Maybe you're single and you want a relationship, or you want better relationships in your life as a whole, whatever it may be, you want to get very clear on exactly where you're at right now in your life, specifically what you do not prefer. Okay, if you don't know what you want, you at least know what you don't want. Then you want to write down the dream. So, what is it that I genuinely want? I want to wake up doing what I love. I want to make this much money per month. I want to have this healthy kind of relationships in my life. I want to be happy. Whatever it may be, take your time and get very, very clear on the desired outcome. Try to get as clear as possible. Now, I will say this though, the vision itself is not the most important piece. You want to think of the vision that you're creating almost like an emotional anchor that you can tie yourself into. If the vision doesn't happen the way you visualize it, that's okay because what you'll often find in the future is that your vision will actually be, or the results will actually be bigger or better than the vision that you actually had for yourself. Now, the reason why is because right now, how you're thinking about the vision and your dreams and goals is actually limited. It's limited right now to your core belief systems because you can only think to the extent of what you actually believe is possible for yourself. That's why you at least want just some sort of vision to have as an emotional anchor that you can hold on to in some sort of direction for yourself. But it's okay if the exact specific vision doesn't come true. Just a side note. So, now the question comes is that if my beliefs are influencing my results, okay, because your belief systems are the root of it all, because your beliefs form your thoughts or send you your thoughts, they influence your emotional state of being, that forms identity, and that influences your behaviors, your actions, your decisions, etc., which then produce results, right? Definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a change. So if your beliefs are at the root, are at the foundation of the results in your personal life to an extent, then what would you have to believe is true about yourself or the world to be wherever you are? So, this is what you want to ask yourself. Okay, so let's say, for example, you are struggling with finances and the feeling you have around your financial situation is very sad. Okay, so you feel very sad. So you'd have to ask yourself the question of, like, well, what would I have to believe is true about myself or the world to be feeling this way right now about it? Then what's going to happen is that the negative belief system is going to pop up. So I want to go past this part too quickly because this is the most important part. What we're doing is, at first, when you create the vision, you have the anchor. Then you're bringing awareness around where you're at right now. Simply awareness around what you don't prefer in your life when it comes to the results you have and the situations you're in, right? We can't change something if we don't know it's even there. So we need awareness around it. Once you have awareness around it, now you can start dissecting how you got yourself there in the first place, or why that became something in your personal reality. Okay, how we manifest it, some would say. So you want to ask the question. So, for example, let's say you have this constant negative thought pattern of, like, I'm not confident, but you want to be a confident person. Okay, what would I have to believe is true about myself to be feeling this way or be thinking this way, that I'm not a confident person? As soon as you ask that question, what's going to pop up is the limiting belief that you have. Now, you know it's a limiting belief because it's not universally true. Every single person in the world does not agree upon this. Okay. And it probably wasn't true when you were a first born baby, right? If you looked at your baby self, would you say that little baby's never going to have confidence? He's not confident? No. So right there, you can realize that, oh, this is a limiting belief. It's limiting because it's disempowering for you. It does not serve you in the best way and where you want to go in your life. So then we don't need to carry it. We don't need to hold on to it. We can swap it out. We can change it because the belief isn't rooted in truth with a capital T. Therefore, we can change it. So that's what you want to do, is you want to spend time dissecting all of these situations that you're in, whatever it may be, and the beliefs that you have underneath them all. And try to go through that as much as possible. So now that you're asking these questions and you're starting to dissect these negative belief systems by having the proper reflection, by really looking at the things you don't prefer, then as these negative beliefs appear, realize again that they're not rooted in truth, so you can let them go. And this is the next key part here, and this is why it's so important to have that dream vision or that goal self, because now you want to start to adopt the beliefs that you would already have to get the results your goal self would have. Okay, so start asking questions like, well, what would I have to believe to be true to be making this much money per month? What would I have to believe to be true about money itself or success? What would I have to believe to be true about relationships or girls or guys in order to have the relationship that I want? Then you want to start writing those belief systems down, making sure that you're aware of what your current belief systems are, removing them, and then you basically want to program the new belief systems into yourself. You want to adopt the new belief systems as your goal self would already have. Stay with me here. Okay? So, as you start to adopt these new belief systems, what's going to happen next is that the key here, so you adopt the new belief systems, and now you want to start really focusing on building the identity construct, the structure. It's naturally going to happen, but the fastest way to do it is, as much as possible, every day if you can, you want to step into the thinking and feeling as that goal self, as the person who has those beliefs. Stay into it until you feel the actual emotional charge. Once you feel the emotion, you know you're activating that state. Your neurons are starting to fire together. Eventually, they're going to wire together. But you know what also happens when you change your core belief systems? So you're automatically going to start receiving thoughts that are in alignment with those new beliefs. Same thing with feelings. So, for example, if you had negative belief systems around money, you'd think money's evil, people who are successful are bad, whatever it may be. Now that you might have better beliefs around money, like, for example, I'm so abundant, money flows me easily, money comes to me as I go, whatever it may be, what you're going to notice is that you're going to have different thoughts and ideas around money, making money. Same thing with your feelings around money as well. When you pay your bills, whatever it may be, that's actually how you know you've genuinely changed, which I'll explain here soon. But that's the first thing that's going to change, or one of the pieces that's going to change. You know what also changes though? We have this thing called your RAS. Okay. And the RAS is your reticular activating system. And this is basically the filter for reality. And what does it filter out? It filters out whatever does not confirm the belief system. So here's what you should know. Your brain is not wired to make you happy and successful. Your brain is designed to keep you alive. How does it know how to keep you alive? It wants to reconfirm the past. It wants to reconfirm your belief systems. It's playing like a program. It's always trying to predict reality so that way it can make sure that you're safe, secure. So it wants things to be familiar. How does it do that? Well, it wants to play off these belief systems, right? Because that's how your past was created. Your past actions, your past results, right? Came from the thoughts, the feelings, identity, belief systems. So it wants to keep replaying the system over and over and over again. So once you start to change and you start to believe differently, your RAS is going to change and you're going to start to find new evidence for your new belief systems. And also going to focus on the new beliefs to create those in your personal reality, which is crazy to think about. And then also, what also changes is how you act, how you behave, and the decisions that you make. And it's all going to be in alignment with the new belief systems that you're starting to adopt. It's crazy to think about. And I know it is this easy, but I'm going to show you here soon on where people get stuck the most and why they can never really fully break through. But as you can see, so now everything is acting in alignment, is going in alignment. The new program's playing out as in the new belief systems. Now the only thing between you and that goal is genuinely just time because you're literally operating that way. And you might be thinking like, but Caden, I'm not motivated to do that. I'm just not disciplined enough. You don't have to worry about it. This thing that you have is called your motivational mechanism. Basically, the idea behind your motivational mechanism is that you're always going to act towards what you believe serves you. Keyword, what you believe serves you, not what actually serves you. So if you get your belief systems in alignment with the result that you want, you're naturally going to be pulled towards that direction. This is where the idea of manifestation comes into play. So as you start to do this and as you do this work, what is going to happen in time is that reality is going to start to reflect your new self because every action has a consequence. So the more you start acting, deciding, thinking, and focusing in alignment with the belief systems that you have, the more you're actually going to create those belief systems in reality, which is so crazy to think about. So here's how you want to look at it on this journey of growth, okay? Is that here you are right now. And let's say you adopt the state. So state is the new identity. So you step into the thought and feeling, you activate that state. Then you act off that state. As you go and make a transformation, resistance is going to come up. Resistance is there for you. Think of resistance as old belief systems are arriving to the surface because you know that you can't take these old programming with you to the changes that you want in your life. Okay, so this resistance pops up, and in this resistance, so there's challenge resistance. When I say resistance, think of like challenges. In there is things that you can learn. There is lessons. There is changes that you can make. There is maybe beliefs to change. Whatever it may be, there is something in there for you that needs to let go of, that we need to change our perspective on, so that way we can keep rising up. But what happens to a lot of people here is that they look at this resistance as it's happening to them, it's happening against them, it's wrong, it's bad. And then this is where we self sabotage. Because what this actually is basically you were trying to change, so your identity is raising, but now you're having an identity mismatch where who you believe you are, your identity, and how you're acting is not in alignment. And that's where the nervous system, your mind, your ego starts to reject it because it's like, hey, I can't protect you out here. This is not familiar. Let's go back to the comfort zone. So what you need to do is you want to raise your identity baseline. You need to make that change, the uncertainty, the new normal, safe and secure. And how you do it is basically just changing the belief systems that you would have that would make you scared of that next level, make you reject that next level in the first place. And then once you do that, guess what? You're naturally going to continue to rise to the next level. Okay, so you adopt the new state, you act, and you repeat over and over and over and over again. And that's why growth is often a journey like this. Okay, moving on. So, and again, like I said, that's the idea of manifesting. And the reason why is because, in manifesting, they talk about how you need to step into the right frequency. Okay. When they say frequency, that is basically your most dominant emotional state. That is determined by your identity. Okay. So you step into the right identity, the right thinking, thought process, the right feelings. Now your RAS is looking for information to track that manifestation in. Now you're also acting in alignment with that manifestation. So you're starting to act towards it. And guess what? Next thing you know, boom, it pops into your reality and you got it. You manifested the thing that you wanted. Yes, there's actually a process to it. It's pretty cool. So, where people struggle the most. I didn't put this piece in, so I should actually mention this now. One of the struggles that people have when they're trying to manifest, change their lives, create a new version of themselves, is they step into the new thought process like, okay, I want to build confidence because I'm insecure, we'll say. All right, I'm going to start thinking like a confident person. The problem is that if you don't feel it, nothing actually changes. Nothing changes whatsoever. You need to genuinely charge it up through, like with your emotions. You need to step into the thought and feeling process. Otherwise, nothing's really going to change. Okay, so this is where people struggle the most as they're trying to make changes in their lives. So the first one is when you continue to react as the old self. And here's what I mean. Let's say, for example, it is bills, okay? Bills that you have to pay, and you had old belief systems around lack, scarcity, lack of abundance, whatever it may be. And when bills popped up, it'd freak you out. You'd get anxious. You'd react to them in that manner, okay? Or if you have belief systems around yourself, your confidence levels, your looks, whatever it may be, people could be anything. And they say something, and then we react in the negative way. Okay, we continue to react the same way. Here's what happens is that this is actually your ego. The ego is reacting. Okay. And the ego's job, everyone thinks ego is a bad thing. No, ego is literally just protector of identity. So if you react in the same way, that's your ego basically dragging you back, collapsing you back to your old identity. Because what you're doing is that you're showing that you never actually changed. Life is giving you a test, it's reflecting back to a situation. The situation itself is neutral because reality itself is neutral, but then you react to it the same old way. So you get the same old experience over and over again, and then you don't change. You fall back to the old identity construct. Okay? So breaking this down. Why? Because, like I mentioned, the event that's happening, the situation, reality itself is neutral. And the meaning that you give it determines how you react or feel about it, right? So the meaning that you assign to the things happening in your life determines then how you will react to it moving forward, how you feel about it. And meaning is created from your core belief systems. So you might want to go back and watch that part one more time. So the lesson in this is that reacting into the reacting in the people and the things that you hate or you don't like or take your power away show you where you're still not free. So if you continue to react to the people you don't like in your life or the situations where it may be, it's just showing you where you're still not free yet. Okay, why? Because, like I mentioned, you're reacting because your brain, your mind is giving that situation some sort of meaning. Okay, you're personalizing it, you're identifying with it. That's the ego. And then we react back, we collapse back to the old belief systems, the old identity. But when you've genuinely changed what you believe about yourself, you see the situation differently, you give it a different meaning, and then you respond to it differently. And once you start to respond to it differently, then results start to change as well because you're acting in a different way. All right. So again, see, you changed. Look at the smile. They can still do whatever they're going to do, but you changed, and now how you respond to it moving forwards as well has changed. Okay? And that's actually the number one way to know. Because the results you're going to get in your life, it takes a little bit of time. There's always a lag period, which we're going to discuss here in a second. But how you genuinely know you actually changed yourself is when you change how you respond or react to the same things going on in your life. That's how you know. Number two. Number two is reality's current reflection. Okay, reality's current reflection. This is where it comes down to the idea of needing validation, letting go of it, having proper trust, keeping your focus in the right place, and keeping calm and relaxed. The reason why is because think of reality as a mirror. Okay, what I mean by that is like if you want the mirror to smile, so if you want a better life, if you want a better reality, if you want the mirror to smile, you must smile first. After you are done smiling, reality, the mirror, reflects it. So what the idea behind that is that you need to change yourself first. Once you change, then reality starts to change. You don't wait and we don't sit around for reality to change because nothing changes if nothing changes. We need to change first. So the problem with that is that you may have actually changed yourself. But there's a time lag when it comes to reality reflecting that back to you. So your focus might be hyper focused on your past habits, your past belief systems, your past actions, the thing that has created the things that have created the results that you have in your life right now. You might be so hyper focused and stressed about those things and be thinking like, look, nothing's changing. Everything's still the same. Everything's still the same. And the more and more you focus on that, the more it stays alive. What we must understand is that there's a little bit of lag time. When you've changed inside, when you changed yourself, reality is still going to reflect that past identity. So the key here is to not get so caught up into it, to let go of it, to focus on yourself, to go in and say, hey, I see that reality reflects this, but it's not going to be forever because this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm controlling. I'm controlling my actions myself and trusting in how things play out. Okay. And this comes down to the idea of being non reactive and letting go of expectation and doing your part. Let's break that down. So, your part is not to control everything. It's not to control the when, the who, or the how. When we try to do that, what it does is just create us a lot of anxiousness. We get a lot of anxiousness. We get worried. We get stressed. It's just no good. It does not help. Okay? What our actual part is to do in this process when it comes to change is you can control your attitude. Reality is neutral. You can control your attitude, your state of being. You can also control your actions, control your decisions. You can control how you adapt to the things going on. You can control your state of being. And you can control how calm, relaxed you are. And if you do that, you will get new results. And that is your part. All right. And this comes down to the idea of the void. So the void is simply where, let's say this is you before, okay, and you've done the inner work. You let go of your fears, you let go of your past traumas, your doubts, your limiting beliefs. You are raising your vibrations, what spiritual people would say. Basically, you're entering higher consciousness. You are seeing the world in a better lens. You're expanding your mind. You are abundant. You're coming from unconditional love, right? Not scarcity, worry, shame, fear, doubt, etc. You're remembering your actual power. You're expanding as a person. You're growing. You're becoming better. But then what's going to happen is that you're in that void. That void is where reality reflects the old self, and you've changed, but results haven't shown up yet to actually really prove it outside of you. But inside of you, you've changed. Okay? That is the void. It's like a caterpillar goes into a cocoon, it melts apart, that's its void. But if it keeps going through the process, it's going to come out as a beautiful butterfly. So that's where you need to trust, and you need to keep moving forwards because that next level is loading. All right, number three. Third mistake is the need for control and certainty. Okay, very, very a normal animalistic thing is the need for control and certainty. So this is what happens a lot of time. Okay, we often miss this part. Is you maybe trying to plan out the entire process of what's going to come after you changed. Problem with that is that you're not often going to know every single step because you're a new person now. You're operating, thinking, feeling, acting differently. Therefore, there is going to be uncertainty because change is happening. You have stepped outside of the cave. You are entering into a new realm, a new world. You are new and you're acting new, so you're going to get new results. So you can't be certain about the outside world, but you can be certain about yourself. And all you need to do in this position is focus on what's in front of you. And you can focus on step one or step two because those steps are there. You might not know the first 5 steps, but you might know the first single step. And what you're going to find is as you take that step, new paths will start to appear and you take it from there. It's the common tale of the guy who's riding the horse carriage and they're heading to the castle and it's very dark and foggy. And the guy's freaking out and scared and the horse is calm and relaxed. And he says, how are you so calm and relaxed? And the horse says, well, I don't need to see the entire path. I just need to see the next step in front of me on the trail. And as long as I follow that, I'm good. That's what we need to do. All right, number four. Number four is not slowing down to speed up. Okay, not slowing down to speed up. So this is where it's like we're coming from the same old state as we always did. We ignore the work, whatever it may be, forget about it, right? This is how I always been, this is how I always operate, or I don't believe in this work, whatever it may be. Okay, you are supported unconditionally in your belief systems. So if you want to believe that this does not work for you, awesome. You will be supported in that belief system. Then what happens though is we're stuck in the loop. The key is to slow down so you can speed up. And what I mean by that is step into the new state of being, activate the new identity, the new belief systems. Once that's charged up, now you take action. That is called aligned action with the results that you want. Now you're taking aligned action, and now you're actually in the right path to the goal to change the dream. All right, guys. So that is the end. Good luck quantum leaping, because that's what a lot of people call this. And make sure that if you enjoyed this training, that you do subscribe for more. I'm dropping these kind of trainings every single Monday and Thursday. And if you think that you need some sort of guidance, help, or you have extra questions, always feel free to DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is at Caden Hayward. And I would love to help out if I can. But thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on the next training. Let's keep rising up.